Hey friends, and welcome back to the Reddit Rainbow, y'all. So grab your vibes and your delights, and let's jump into this story called My 30 Female Husband, 33 Male, Accused Me of Moida out of the blue. How do I salvage this? Y'all, I read this last week on my live. Please mind the trigger warning. But this is crazy, okay? So once again, grab your vibes and your delights and let's jump into this story. This is long and ridiculous. Sorry. Okay. My 30 female husband, Luke, 33 male, had a sister, Laura, 29 female. We were all close and saw each other 2 to 3 times a month, along with their parents. Almost 6 months ago, Laura fell down the stairs at their family home and passed away. It was a freak accident. There's a window on the half landing and she hit her head on the sill. I was the last person to see her. I was there for less than 10 minutes and she was in her pajamas making coffee. I didn't even stay for a drink, and I struggle with how such a brief and meaningless interaction could have been her last. She deserved so much more. My husband and I have only been married for a year, but we've been together for 4 and have known each other for 20 plus. When Laura's family found her, they called my husband straight away and we rushed over. We faced the whole thing as a family. In the days after, Luke started quizzing me, asking exactly what we talked about, what she was wearing, where we were standing. It progressed to saying that I was providing conflicting information on tiny details he was deliberately misunderstanding, and accusing me of withholding information because I couldn't tell him things like what pajamas she was wearing. This escalated quickly, but lasted for less than a week, as I lost my cool and made it clear that I was done answering questions. He didn't bring it up again, and I wrote it off as a grief quirk. His behavior was generally that of a normal grieving person. Last Friday, he outright accused me of unaliving her in front of his parents, out of the blue. We were all stunned. There was an inquest which recently concluded, and there was never any doubt the verdict would be accidental passing away. He said it was completely obvious, and he couldn't believe that no one else could see it. See what? He claims, why would you marry someone that you married her knowing she was the kind of person who wouldn't unalive somebody, right? I would hope you would marry somebody hoping that they wouldn't unalive. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is crazy work, okay? He claims I went through his phone and found his messages with Laura. I have absolutely no idea what messages he's talking about. I have never looked at his phone. And then I went over to confront her and things got out of hand and I pushed her down the stairs. And by the end, he was shouting about going to the police and getting the inquest overturned. If you didn't know, an inquest is like the autopsy result, and how I wasn't going to get away with it. Let me be clear. Laura and I had a great relationship. We all did. I have no idea where this has come from, other than these messages I haven't seen. And even then, I don't think there's anything that I could ever see on someone's phone that would drive me to doing this. It's just ridiculous. He's been with his parents since this happened, and he will not talk to me at all. I've had some contact with his mom, but she's not being very communicative. The last I heard, she didn't even know what messages he was referring to either. They're not talking to you? I don't know. I'm still completely stunned and have no idea how to proceed. I made a commitment to be there for him always, and I understand that grief can manifest in strange ways. But part of me feels like my love for him disappeared the second he called me an unaliver, and I don't know how we could possibly work through this. I also don't really want to be thought of in this way. And that's what I'm saying. Is like, and I have no idea if he has said anything to people we know, because I obviously haven't. A brain tumor or psychotic break has crossed my mind, and I suggested it to his mother, and she just said she'll talk to him. Other than the questions before, he hasn't been acting odd. Obviously, he's been grieving, but he seemed sane and sensible other than this. I feel like I'm going mad. Does anyone have any advice at all? Too long didn't read. My husband's sister passed away in a horrible accident, and my husband, for absolutely no reason other than some mystery messages, thinks I unalived her. There was an edit, but it's something that's completely unrelated because the OP already edited the post to remove whatever she was talking about. But anyway, that shit is crazy, and they just did an update. So let's go ahead and look at that update. I will say there was one more post in between this. The OP went through her husband's like iPad, and apparently the way she did it wasn't quite legal. But other than that, I wonder what's gonna happen. Firstly, thank you to those who helped me get to my husband's iCloud backups through an old iPad. I wasn't expecting much from Reddit, but I got valuable practical advice before my post was locked, and I appreciate it. There were no crazy or even suspicious messages. I've searched for over 100 terms and scrolled back over years. I saw a side of both of them that I wasn't expecting, but nothing that explains the claim that I unalived her over their chats. Nothing to suggest he was cheating, no incest. I repeat, none. And no weird gaps where deleted conversations or a switch to another app would fit. Just siblings making plans, sending memes, and gossiping. They said unexpectedly horrible stuff about a few people, but not about me. It was sort of a release, but it raised more questions than it answered. I sought legal advice also from Reddit after posting here. Turns out my options are divorce him or sit down. I contacted my community mental health team who said that they'd reached out but made it clear that it wasn't urgent. I then called his mom and said that if I didn't hear back from him this weekend, that I would get a solicitor and ask for a mental health assessment as part of the divorce. In response, he made a ridiculous post to Facebook, which neither of us have used in years, and everything blew up. So I'm going to try to keep this succinct. Ooh, cheese. On Friday night, he made a long accusation on Facebook with new information. He said he'd been planning to leave me for months with his sister's support, and I found the message and unalived her. I was wondering maybe he was like thinking about leaving her or something, but but even still, even if you were thinking about leaving someone, why would you go do that? Like, he must think really highly of himself. Like, anyway. So the coroner has reopened the case and the police are preparing to arrest me, and he needs to make sure people know before the trial stops him from talking about it. Wow, the level of Delulu. So I wasn't off base at all when I said that. Jeez. It was well written and seemed vaguely plausible. He messaged people links so it got some attention. We live in our hometown and have a large circle of friends because we've all lived here our whole lives. People I haven't spoke to since high school were reaching out asking me what the fuck was going on, and it was complete madness. In response, I posted the export of his entire conversation history with Laura, also to Facebook when I finally got back in. Lol, she wasn't even logged into it. I linked to the chat along with the post explaining my side and noting that I had changed my ex's iCloud and Apple passwords and said that if he wanted him back, he should comment on my post and update his own, admitting that he was lying, and he eventually did. When I started getting messages about his post, I panicked. And changing his password seemed important to preserve everything because he'd know I had access. When I spoke to him the next morning, it's clear he's not having a mental episode at all, but is claiming one because he's been caught in a big lie. As soon as he was outed, he called me, clearly wasted, begging and promising to explain everything if I deleted my post. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The first thing I always say is to tell the truth and then spread that truth far and fucking wide. Okay? Don't fucking delete that shit. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, I hung up and told him to call me back the next day. He did, after many missed calls and texts. And he tried to bargain and guilt trip me with his mental health until it was clear the wrong people had seen his conversation. It's hard to describe, but it seemed fake. It was too well rehearsed, and then this morning, when it was clear he was getting nowhere, he blocked me. Wow. Begging for mercy and reciting facts about mental disorders doesn't align with someone in crisis with a sincere belief that someone unalived their sibling. The question of why he did all this remains unanswered, and he will not be getting his passwords until it is. The legal advice subreddit said that this stuff is technically illegal, but it's beneath a court to take action. So I'm going to count on that because I felt like I had no other choice at the time, and now I don't see any other way to get answers from him. I am desperate and it's all I've got. So there we are. The relationship I had believed was my destiny since I was a teenager has boiled down to a petty, convoluted, and vindictive bullshit played out on social media for reasons that are still unknown. My hope for a brain tumor is fading, and clearly tomorrow morning is going to be when I lawyer up and stop posting about this. I'm mortified. I have no idea whether some people might believe him, and I still don't know why this all happened in the first place. Sorry I don't have a happier update. And thanks once again to everyone who offered advice. Wow. And it's already locked. I wonder what that means. I was sitting here scrolling through the comments because I'm completely dumbfounded. Usually I have a good, a lot of times I have a good imagination on why people would do things, but this person says you might want to hire a PI because I don't know, OP. He's staging getting rid of you. I'd be highly suspicious that there's another woman involved. I think there's another woman involved, period, because he was thinking about leaving her in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why he would go that far. I don't know why he wouldn't just be like, I don't love you anymore, and then call her like a fat dumb bitch or something. Like, that's what dudes usually do. They call you fat and then expect you to cry about it for the rest of your life. But they usually don't jump to unaliving. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it's all coincidental. I don't know. I am wondering what the update is going to be. If we even get one. Like, can you imagine if we don't get one and then a year later it comes? Like, bro, I don't like being caught up on what's new and hot. You know what I'm saying? I wait until all the episodes are out and then I binge. Okay. All right, y'all. That's all we've got for this story. Y'all keep an eye out. Because if there's more, let me fucking know, okay? In the meantime, what do y'all think happened? What do you think is going through his mind? I don't know. Maybe it's a midlife crisis or something. I don't know. They seem too young. Maybe it's because they've been together since their whole lives. I don't know. That's just excessive, though. And the fact that his family isn't really communicating with her, something's going on. Something's going on. And also, it is not normal for someone to automatically jump to doing it on purpose. Okay, that is not normal. Okay, this isn't normal. Anyway, I can't wait to read your guys' thoughts, and as always, I'll catch y'all later. Again, if y'all see an update, tag me. Okay.